What is going on, guys? I hope that you are having an incredible day today. And in this video, what we're going to be going over is the teach a man a fish versus giving them the fish, old proverb. And before we get into it, what I really would love for you guys to do, in a situation where you're getting value out of this YouTube channel, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and if you know people who would benefit from this information, this is free information that we're putting out for you guys to get to the next stage, the next level within your trading career. If you know people who are looking for information like this, please, just send it their way. And if not, and you didn't get value from it, that's cool too. Send us some suggestions on what you are actually looking for in the space of trading psychology, developing a plan, so on and so forth. So with that being said, this old proverb, the pretty much how it goes from front to back is, if you give a man a fish, he will be full for a day. And if you teach a man to fish, he'll be fed for a lifetime, right? So that's the general dynamic of this quote here. And how it relates to specifically with trading, the way that I see this is, if you continuously receive the fish in the terms from the proverb from somebody else, and someone else is always giving you fish, giving you fish, giving you fish, what you're doing is you are creating a dependency on somebody else, right? So the nature of the dynamic is the other person is self-aware enough, has the confidence in themselves, has the plan, has the strategy, has the overall psychology, the internal development necessary to become who they are right now within the trading space, right? And this is not a diss at you, because I'm going to get into more explanations with what I'm going into, but there's that person who's in the relationship, and then there's the person who has not taken the time necessarily, the effort, the experience to get to where that person is at, and all they're really doing is leveraging that person's ideas to make money. And there's a lot of stuff wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the fact of, if this is your very first time trying to learn, watching somebody else trade is not bad, but staying dependent on somebody else and watching them trade and always being the person looking over their shoulder is a huge problem. So what I'm going to get into is the 4 different types of learning, right? So on the opposite side of having that dependency, the teaching somebody how to fish, that relationship is where somebody is saying, hey, I have information, I'm going to teach you this information, right? In whatever style they're teaching it in, and you are going to then learn it and then utilize it, apply it, and then create independence for yourself within trading, okay? The 4 types of knowledge are ways in which you receive knowledge and you can acquire knowledge is through learning, is through applied knowledge, is through modeling knowledge, and teaching knowledge, right? So modeling knowledge is the one that I'm going to focus on right now, where the dependent relationship can form, okay? And through modeling, like I said, in the beginning stages of modeling, it looks very innocent, right? It doesn't look like there's anything wrong, but it can eventually become this relationship where if the mentor, if the teacher disappears, the student, the person, the prodigy, right, however you want to word it, the mentee is then left in a helpless state where they can't go out and function without being able to model somebody else, right? I'm going to give you guys a real life example in my life that I know pushed me to go above and beyond and to become competent in something. And I hope that this can, relate to you in some way, shape, or form. So I look back to my whole life, I played baseball. I started at 5 years old. I played in a in-house league where there was probably a dozen teams all throughout Little League, and, scaling on and on into becoming an adult, right? Everybody would play each other, and the best 12 kids out of the entire league of hundreds of kids would become part of what's called the all-star team, right? So then the all-star team would play the best teams that were formed out of all of the leagues in the surrounding area. And the point that I'm getting at here is that the all-star recognition, the trophies, the excellence that was associated with becoming an all-star If every single kid in my little league got a trophy just for showing up, I wouldn't have strived for that, right? I wouldn't have strived to become at a level of mastery in the sport that I loved, right? And this is the parallel that I'm trying to create here. If you are always being handed something, right, without having to do the mastery, do the work, and learn the skills required to actually get the trophy, right, in the baseball analogy, you're gonna be at a point where you're never gonna be reaching your maximum potential, okay? You could actually eventually be better than the person that you're learning from. I really want you to think about this. You will always stay underneath the person that you're continuously copying as long as you're in a state of having to copy from them, right? And not only could you become at least as good as them, if you took it upon yourself to learn the disciplines necessary to become an independent trader, you could actually, the level in which you're stunting your growth right now is incredible, right? And I know that this conversation might come across like a little bit like everybody's got to fend for themselves type of vibe, but that's not really what I'm trying to give. I understand that there are people who, going back to the proverb, might like quote unquote need the food right now. And I know that I can speak for myself. I know that I can speak for Rob as well. We're generous people. It's part of the values of who we are as people to actively go and be generous. And I don't need to tell you guys this. I'm not trying to brag about being generous or whatever the case is. But what I'm saying is that I practice generosity, but from a standpoint of learning a skill set like trading, the mentor-mentee relationship. If you just continuously just hand and hand and hand and give and give and give the person what they're looking for in a sense of profitable trade setups, you're hurting them. It's a dangerous game to be playing because they're never going to reach their maximum potential or what they could have done by, cutting the cord and going off and doing it on their own. I heard this analogy once where when a mother bird lays eggs, what the mother bird doesn't do is break open all of the eggs that are sitting in the bird's nest, because what she's going to do is she's going to kill the babies. They need to actually use, right, their own intelligence, their own strength to break out of the egg itself and hatch. Because think about what would happen if they didn't. They would die within the egg if they were broken from the outside in instead of growing out of the eggshell, right, from the inside out. So this whole conversation is for your best interest if this is you right now, right? I don't want you to be in a situation where if you're learning from somebody and they disappear, so does your income, okay? We would never, myself and Rob, we would never set you up to, if we disappeared, so would your income. The reason why we teach from this style is for you to develop to a certain level of competency by yourself. We don't need any credit. We don't need, you know what I mean? You don't even need to mention us, right? We don't have to be around. You can never hear from us ever again. You learn the information that you need to learn, and then you get to where you need to go, right? And the final point that I want to make on this is that you might be sitting here and you might be the person who is learning from somebody else and just watching them and just taking their ideas and just doing what they're doing, doing what they're doing, doing what they're doing. And we're coming to you from a standpoint of we've been that person before. I can speak for myself. I know that I've been that person before. And what I'm going to tell you is that you might think you know the strategy, that you know how to spot the setups, but what I'm going to ask you is where does your confidence truly lie? Because when you go and venture off to becoming a self-sufficient trader, you're quickly going to realize where your confidence truly lies. And if your confidence lies in another human who is providing you with these cookie cutter setups, right? When it comes time to face your inner demons, right? The things that you didn't even know you had, right? You're lacking confidence in yourself. You're questioning your entries. You're questioning when you should get out. You're over leveraging your positions because you don't have somebody who is on a call reminding you all the time, hey, make sure you don't over leverage, right? all these types of things, and then you start breaking the rules. So now that you are following somebody else's set of rules, you don't even have your own set of rules, and all these things start to come into play where you're quickly going to realize that knowing somebody's strategy just from watching them was not enough. There's a set of principles that you need to understand that we teach, right? Where then you can take what we're teaching you and go apply it in real life, which is where the experience comes in, to the point where you can go take this skill wherever, whenever, whatever time of day, whatever month of year, and go execute and go do what you can do within the markets. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to, putting out more content in this realm of really encouraging you guys to take ownership of your life, take ownership of your trading, and become a master at your craft. So with that being said, I will see you guys next week on the next video.